Hi, everybody. Welcome to Queers and Soaps. I'm Tommy, and today I'm joined by Eric.
Julia once again.
You're always Julia.
I love her so much.
We are back for our Don't Touch My Grape segment, which is our continued coverage of Falcon Crest. Today we are discussing episodes 4, 5, and 6 of season 3. So I'll roll the credits and we'll get right into it. So episode 4 is titled Partners. This is Vicky's last episode, right?
This is Vicky's last episode for now.
For now.
And Joe Lammy comes back as Dan, Sheriff Dan from season 2.
When I saw him, I wasn't sure when was the last time we saw him, but I was like, oh yeah. Doesn't he make the opening credits at one point? No.
No, he did a lot. This man did a lot. He was in Edge of Night. So me and Karen are watching 1983 GH. He's
Hmm.
in that.
Oh.
He just popped up. He's one of the Russian spies in the summer storyline. Yeah. And he's in Edge of Night. So we're watching two things with him, and now I'm watching three because of Falcon Crest. He's everywhere, this man. He's in a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Good career.
Um, so Dr. Landry wants Chase to have surgery to remove the bullet, which will kill him, and he knows this.
Hmm.
But Michael is like going over his x-rays and test results with, I guess, the head doctor. um, and saying that he doesn't need the surgery because that'll paralyze him. And if there's an infection, then he definitely shouldn't have surgery. And he does have an infection.
Yeah.
But Landry's saying it's because of the bullet, and Michael's contradicting that.
Yeah. Thank God for
So,
Michael.
so then they like rush to like stop Landry from doing surgery, like right to the minute, like he's being wheeled into the OR.
Yeah.
And Dr. Landry tries to play it off by like acting insulted that he would be questioned.
How dare you question me? I'm a doctor.
But Maggie decides to go with Michael's opinion, and so the surgery doesn't happen. They end up doing like physical therapy, and there's like a physical therapy montage, and everything that they made him do, I felt like was like 6 months worth of work. Like I was expecting Melissa to like have a full grown belly, like by the time he was done with physical therapy.
That would have been kind of fun if that happened that way.
The way that it was happening, I was like, wait, how much time has passed? Is this all in like a week?
I'm assuming it was probably a week. Yeah. They usually give you, well, I don't know about back then, but they usually give you about a week now of PT, depending on, how you are.
They had him like trying to walk with like the bars. They had him like going into like what looked like boiling water.
I know.
I
They
guess
got
it
me
was like
near to that.
maybe it was like jets hitting his legs to stimulate them or something. I don't know.
I put something like Chase gets dipped.
There was one point where he was getting like his legs massaged, and then it panned up, and it was a guy doing it, and I was just like, he's probably like, "Don't get a boner, don't get a boner."
Right.
But he's able to stand now because of all this physical therapy, and at some points take a few steps before falling flat on his face.
Yeah. Aw.
But Maggie's been by his side the whole time. Um,
Yes.
Meanwhile, Angela is trying to say that he's physically incompetent to run half the company. And I'm like, what does him being physically incompetent have to do with anything? It should be all mental. Like if his brains are there, what does it matter?
Yeah, I'm guessing because they have to do other things like I don't know. I guess he didn't mentally need, I don't know. They didn't need mental ability for what he needed to do, I guess. I don't know.
That didn't make sense to me.
I don't know. But it's in whatever he had done. Remember, like she even says that you're the one that did this, like
Right.
made the contract or at least whatever it is. I don't know. Business shit.
Um Angela actually corners the sheriff with her car. She like cuts him off. And
Yeah.
she's like demanding he like make the accommodations for Julia better because she's being treated like a common criminal. And he's like, "You
Yeah,
think this is bad?" He's like, "Wait till she gets to the state pen."
yeah. Doesn't she say something when he walks when he leaves? I forget. She did
He
say
said
something
something
funny.
like, I don't give in to idle threats," and she's like, "Good, because I don't make them." And then she like drives off.
As evil as Angie is, I do love the woman. She's got balls of steel.
Oh, because he wouldn't like do anything to help her. So she was like, "I'll remember this come election time or whatever."
Yeah, yeah.
And that's when he said, he's like, "I don't like kneel to idle threats," and she's like, "I don't make them or whatever." So yeah.
I believe this is his last season. I think they get a new sheriff next season, so
Do they?
I believe so.
I
Yeah.
don't know why. I feel like he was around for a while.
Well,
I feel
he
like
is
he gets
in
like
this
this
season
weird
a
like
lot.
I feel like he gets like this weird C plot storyline where he's sick.
Hmm.
And I'm
He
like, what
gets
was this about?
heartburn. He gets like
Harper.
bad acid
I'm
reflux,
like, give him Thomas. Like, what the hell?
and Michael helps him. Yeah. Well, I think because he's not doing anything for it. So if you don't do
Okay.
anything for heartburn, for those who might not know, you might want to go see a doctor, and you do have to get like a prescription sometimes.
Okay. Is this the episode where Emma wants to like write her own like column? Like a like,
Well, yeah, she does. Hmm.
and she
She
like
wants more to do. She's bored because
yeah,
he
so
gave her
she
like
like
a shit job.
did she like create like sample pieces and put it in a book for Richard to look at?
I think so. Yeah,
And she was just
she
like,
wants
I
to
wanted
do
to
something.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
she's bored.
right now she's like a VP, but I feel like it's just like a figurehead title. She's not really doing anything.
Right, that's what then and she knows. Like she's like, I know you gave me this shit job, like that doesn't do anything. Like I want to do something.
I was so bored last season. She put every number in every order to get to crack a code.
Yeah, right.
All the
Go
numbers.
Emma. Yeah. That's why I think Richard loves Emma. Like he just can't not love Emma.
Yeah, he has a soft spot for her. I like that relationship.
He does. Even though at one point he does say he's using her for something, but I think he would be upset if she got upset with something he did.
I think this is the episode where Richard brings Julia an orchid,
Hmm.
which she keeps in her cell, which I don't think is allowed, but all right.
Now, do you see what him and Melissa are doing? That they're using her to do evil things.
They are,
Yeah.
but I feel like Melissa is going rogue and trying to kill her.
Um, but he doesn't really seem to care because he even says it at one point, like he's not trying to stop it. I think he's just seeing how things go. I don't know how far he would let it go because I don't think it gets to that point.
Right.
But because he even said in a scene with her, he was like, "Oh, well, she might get that penalty." Like he didn't really seem to care. I think they just want revenge and they just want to do everything they can to screw her over.
But going back to Vicky, so she decides she wants to go back to New York because she never really like fit in there or like took to the place. And just like how she worded it, it felt like the writers were admitting that they didn't know what to do with her. Like, yeah, we never really knew what to do with this character, so we're just gonna send her back to New York.
It's a shame because I thought they did pretty good, for the most part.
Hmm.
But yeah, she's very been like the last story. Like she's never been in anything major. The stuff I really liked with her was like the stuff with her and Emma
With
when Emma
her.
was on the run and all that when she ran
From the
away.
first season.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like that stuff.
yeah.
But besides that, she really didn't do too much.
Lance is like rubbing in Cole's face that Melissa's about to have another baby, his
Yeah.
baby. And I thought he knew this already. I thought we like found that out last time.
Mm-mm.
No? All right.
No.
And Melissa's like every time like Cole like tries to talk to Joseph, she's just like stay away from him. He's not your kid. Like I know like biologically you are, but he's not your kid. Because I said so.
Like you would think she would know to like be nice. Like he is the baby's daddy. Like you should kind of like fill him in here and there because then he might what he's doing in the third episode, or the sixth, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, so dummy.
Him and Linda are still dating, even though the father hates his guts.
And I did make note it's a bakery.
Bakery.
She said like she said something like, "Oh, I just got back from the bakery," and I was like, "Ah, bakery, okay." 'Cause we were like, you were like pizza place, and I'm like, "Yeah, I don't really know what it is. Restaurant?" But yeah,
Something.
it's apparently a bakery. The Caproni Bakery.
um, Maggie convinces Michael to take a staff position at the hospital,
Hmm.
and he tells her that he's the executor of Jacqueline's estate. At the court hearing, they make it sound like Angela has a case because Chase can't walk and he's incompetent or whatever, and he ends up showing up late in a wheelchair. But
Right.
they end up saying, he makes the case of like, Roosevelt was president and he still like ruled the country, like even though he was in a wheelchair. And they make a statement like, yeah, but even he stood up when he had to from time to time. So then Chase stands up. And the judge
Right.
is like, case dismissed.
I know, it was
And this is
silly.
one of those like episode endings where it like freezes on Angela's face, like foiled again.
They do always get her, but it's fun to watch. I love watching it.
It's almost like a cartoon villain, like when they end on her like that, like, damn it, so my plans are ruined again.
And don't forget to mention about Melissa and Richard with the baby.
um,
So
so
you
yes,
tell me, what are you thinking of Chase in these episodes? You haven't really said, so I thought maybe you were like being okay with them this so far this season.
it's funny you mentioned that because I did kind of take note because I know that I usually don't like him. He was allowing Maggie to be there for him, which I thought was nice. And later on, he actually kind of encourages her to take the job at the New Globe, which I thought was nice.
Mm, yeah,
Um, a little unexpected because I'm usually used to him like biting her every step of the way.
I thought it was funny though. Like I think doesn't he say, "Do you really want to work with Richard like that?" And she's like, "Oh no, not really." Like he was just like questioning, like he didn't seem to, he was like, "It is what it is," but you really want to do that?
So Maggie is kind of like helping out at the winery.
Oh
I don't know if
yeah,
this was the first episode or this is the second episode,
I
but
think it's the one now.
yeah, Lance is like questioning her every step of the way and like telling her she's doing things wrong. And she's like, I'm going over the list and it says to do this. And he's like, well, that's wrong. And she's like, so then Cole steps in and he's like, we talked to Angela about this and we said that, I don't know, releasing the reserve sooner would make it like a fruitier, sweeter wine or whatever.
Yeah,
And she's, I like how Maggie was like, sounds like you need to go talk to your grandmother. Everybody continue what you're doing. Lance needs to go confirm with his grandmother.
yeah, yeah. I like that too. He's such a tool in these. He drives me nuts in these episodes, Lance,
um,
the little bastard.
okay, so episode 5 is titled Judge and Jury. Chase returns to Falcon Crest and Angela orders Lance to make his homecoming difficult. Um, he
Right
sa-
at the door when he gets there.
he sabotages one of the vats, and I love that like Chase knows, but we don't know that he knows until the end.
Well, we kind of figured out because you see that guy standing by the vat listening or like looking at Lance. Remember when he's like, "Oh, you can go on
Right,
break or whatever," and that
right.
guy lingers. He's like, he's up to no good."
I like how he threatened him. Now he's like, "It's gonna come out of your paychecks or whatever," and he's like, "Oh, like what?" He's like, "Next time you want to sabotage a vat, make sure nobody sees you." And I was like, "Ooh,
Yeah,
check."
yeah. I know that was a good one.
It was so weird for me to see Julia acting like that towards Maggie because they were such close friends in the first season.
Yeah,
The minute she saw her, she was just like, "What are you doing here?" Like, she couldn't stand her. I was like, "What?" I'm like, "This is all because you thought their son was trying to take your son's birthright? You hate them all of a sudden?"
she always did, is what it is. She always had like resentment to them, apparently.
It's
And
wild.
well, you got to think of who she's raised by. You're raised by Angela and look how Angela is, and look how Emma is. You know what I mean? Like if you resort back to like season one Emma, she was locking her in a room for the whole freaking season. Like,
I thought about that. Emma's like so unbothered by Angela now. Like whatever she says, she's just like, "Oh, mother, you're so silly." Like, but in season one, she would have been all cowering and like locked in her room.
right. But when
Now
she
she's
got
just like, "You're
psycho,
so dramatic." She doesn't even
but
pay
she
attention
got
to Angela.
psychiatric help, so she's good now. But
Yeah,
like that's what Julia needs because Julia is just as crazy, basically, as Emma in season one, but more of a psycho killer.
Philip, where she gets called away and she leaves her purse there, and he goes through it and he gets the
Mm,
key to the files, which has, I
hmm.
guess, the contract that Melissa
The
signed,
Agretti,
signing over the Agretti
yeah.
crop to her for the season.
Uh-huh.
Um, but I was like, I don't know if I was reading too much into it. I was like, did Angela do that on purpose, knowing that he was gonna go through her purse? She didn't.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, see, I
No,
read too
because she
much.
wants the Agretti vineyards, and now they're up for grabs.
Yeah.
So no, she doesn't want that
Richard
at all.
wanted to buy the next season, and she's like, "Are you kidding?" She's like, "No," she's like, "Nobody buys future like stocks," and she's like, "Crop." She's like, "That's ridiculous. You never know what the weather is going to be."
Can't buy my grapes.
Oh, there was a scene because now Chase is like doing his PT on Falcon Crest. He's just like walking through the vineyards, falling on his face, all dirtied up. Where he was like,
I love that part.
he he was like holding on to like a grapevine, and I was like, "Don't touch my grapes." I was like, "You're gonna ruin the vine grabbing it like that."
He ruined a lot of grapes that day, but it was worth it. He can walk.
In
He
real
doesn't
life,
need
he would
those
have been so
thingy.
sore if he did that all day. And he's like, "I did
Yeah, I
PT all
don't.
day now. All I need is this cane."
Right, right. Yeah.
So this is the episode where he goes to the grave, and Richard is there, and he tries to get
Oh, did we
what?
talk about when Lance made him climb those steps? That mother. That pissed me. I forget if that was this episode or not.
Yeah, that was all part of him like trying to sabotage everything.
That was the sabotage, right? But he
Yeah,
made him go up there for nothing. He's like,
right.
no, that pissed me off. I'm like, dude, hardcore, man.
Well,
Fuck.
his grandmother said whatever it takes, so he's just taking charge, I guess.
That's just cold though, man. Like, I don't know. That was before he could like walk. So he had like his so he was like pulling himself up all the steps. And then he's like, oh, it's empty. And then he had to go all the way down. Like, whatever. Go on, I'm sorry.
Julia. So Maggie, she's now decided that she does want to get out because she wants to finish the job. She
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
So now she's being cooperative with Philip
For a minute.
for a minute. Um, and they decided that they were gonna. I think they were gonna try and do a psychiatric help to like instead of jail time, she would do psychiatric time.
Yeah.
She had to open her big mouth, and she gets sentenced to stay in jail with what was it? How did they word it? Special. There might be like a special hearing for her punishment. And when Melissa asks Philip what is the special like circumstances or whatever, he says the death penalty, and Melissa
Right.
gets like a smirk on her face.
Yeah. That's what she wants.
Yeah,
Melissa wants her to die because of what she did. And that's
right,
why she's getting in with her and tight with her.
right.
Don't mess with my Julia. And
um,
it sucks too because Melissa, Emma, and Julia are all my favorites, so it's like hard to see my favorite like do this
be
to
against
another
each other.
favorite. Don't hurt my other favorite. Oh, we Richard finds out his mom was head of the cartel. It's kind of important for the storyline and the
Yeah,
next season, I think, too, because a lot of stuff happens with that.
Julia. Melissa was really fucked up in the third episode, which is titled "The Wages of Sin."
Hmm.
I feel like so she goes to visit her again. Or so it opens with Lance. We had mentioned this. He's all shirtless and sweaty because he's having nightmares about his never seeing his
Hmm.
mom again. He's like in her bedroom looking at a picture of the two of them. Melissa's like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "Go away, go back to bed." Leaves, and then he like looks at himself in the mirror and he throws the picture at the mirror. But then he like starts crying and hugging the pillow that smells like her, the little baby.
He's very upset. It's mom. It's his mama.
Melissa puts her own spin on this, and she goes to visit Julia, and she's just
Hmm.
like, he doesn't want anything to do with you. He destroyed all your things. And Julia's
Yeah.
like, "What? Everything I did for him. Like, what am I supposed to do now?" And Melissa's like, "Yeah, you should probably kill yourself, right?" She's like, she's like, "That's probably the only way. Like, you'll get any relief out of this." And Julie's just like,
Yeah, she,
"Yeah." Julie's like, "Yeah, I should probably die." It's like, what?
yeah. Melissa's very manipulative, and she's doing it not that directly, but but she's acting like she's Julia's
Almost
best
as
friend.
directly though. She like just kind of hinting around, like, you probably should just end it.
That's the only way.
It's the only thing I can think of. Could you think of any other way? And Julie's like, "No, I think I have to end it."
Yeah,
I
my
was like,
poor Julia.
"What?" That's how you know
Uh,
she needs some psychiatric help, because she's just so like, "Yeah, no, this is what I have to do. I have to either kill somebody or kill myself." Like, I don't know.
it's so funny too, like when you see her talking, like in those first three episodes that we talked about, like she seems like she knows what she's doing. But yeah, I guess she just had a, I don't know. Like it's like you know what? I think it's after. I think we're to believe that it was after Angela messed with Tony that last time when he
I
kind
was gonna
of
say which time.
sent her several of the time. I think that just got to her, and when her happiness ended, then she probably hooked up with Carlo,
Hmm.
and then it was just like, and then she's like, well, I got to do something, so hook up with Carlo, try to get that money and whatever for Lance, and
I'm trying to remember like
turned
the
into
sequence of
pregnant.
events. So we're to believe that the Carlo affair was probably happening at the beginning of the season, because he died pretty early on.
Yeah.
Uh, but then they had like the recast Tony that came, right?
Yes.
So she was kind of trying to rekindle with Tony after Carlo, and
Yeah,
then
maybe they
that
probably
didn't
had a
work
break at some point. Yeah.
out. Yeah. Yeah, I don't
And
know.
I'm telling you, it's Angela's influence. And
Yeah,
that's what like Richard just wants to turn her against Angela in every way possible.
right.
I don't know if he wants her dead, but he didn't like, didn't seem too upset when it was like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Which again, he's mourning his mother, so,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess she just are angry.
Julia actually announces at her trial that she'd like to die. um, but they end up just sentencing her to prison, not death penalty, which pisses her off because she's like, "No, I want to die."
But did you notice in both the episodes that these happened, like she looks right at Angela with a smirk, like
Hmm.
she wants to see her mother in pain, and she's like, "This will
Right.
give her pain. What if I die?" The way she looks at her, I'm just like, "Damn, girl, what do you think?"
Oh, Angela did offer $100,000 check to the hospital to start a new wing, under
Hmm.
the guise that her father was always very charitable to the hospital, and she hasn't been as much as she should be. So she'd like to rectify that. But we all know that so she can call in favors somehow later on down the line.
Yeah, but she doesn't she tell Philip like, "Oh, I'm gonna take that back once things settle down a little bit."
Yeah. Yeah.
Like what? That's kind of. What if they start the thing? Like what?
Right.
You can't do that. I mean, they could probably sue her for. I don't know. I was just if you're giving my. I don't know. I don't know how that works. Everybody was impressed with the Julia story with the paper because Richard and Emma like worked on it together or whatever. So they were like it was actually decent. That's why Maggie decided to go work for him. She's like, oh, instead of like throwing, like what they did to Cole,
Hmm.
just like saying that he did it without anything. But I'm excited. This leads to a lot of fun stuff for my Julia. Not that it's good stuff for her, but it's fun to watch for me. But, um, I just love her. I just love her attitude. I love she's just smart. She's such a smart criminal. It's a shame they couldn't like find a way to keep her kind of a criminal through these
Yeah.
seasons, but
So I already mentioned Terry should be coming in the next batch of episodes.
yes.
I did not like her the first go around. I'm going now that I know that I end up liking her. I'm gonna try to have an open mind and see if I'll like this part.
You know
More?
what? I thought the same, and when I rewatched it like a year or two ago, I didn't hate her, but she's just an asshole. Like I just don't like how she is with Maggie. It gets on my nerves. I'm like, she's your
Yeah.
sister. Like I always want like a criminal to at least have one person that they care about. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? And like she really just doesn't, and I don't like that. Like I don't know, but we'll see again.
All right. Do you have anything else to add on these episodes?
No, I
Nope.
think we got everything covered.
All right. Well, if you're watching this, you probably noticed that we have our Venmo listed at the bottom of the screen at Queers and Soaps. If you're feeling generous and you want to donate anything, we'd appreciate it. It would help with the production of the podcast. And as always, you can find us on all the socials at Queers and Soaps. And until next time, have a great day. Bye.
Bye.